right, thank you very much, everyone. I'm not going to take too much time, but I did maybe just want to tell you about the new Master of Conference Interpreting. It's a very exciting program for us here at Glendon, and it's the result of a lot of work, a lot of planning, and now we're finally here, and it has come to fruition. So just want to talk to you about it very, very briefly. The program, we're calling it A Clear Voice for the World Stage, and tonight, just in terms of a quick overview, just want to talk to you a little bit about the structure of the program. I'll talk to you about one of the features, which is the fact that part of the program is delivered entirely online. The third thing I want to talk to you about is where interpreting might take you. What would a program in interpreting, what kind of job opportunities might it lead to? And finally, what happens next if you want to know more information or thinking about applying to the program. So what is the program like? The program is a 2-year master's degree, and it's structured really in 2 parts. In year 1, you get equal exposure to interpreting in 3 settings. So there are equal numbers of courses that are taught in court interpreting, in health care interpreting, and also in conference interpreting. And for those students who want to exit the program at the end of the first year, they can do so, and they can receive the graduate diploma in general interpreting. If somebody wants to go on to year 2, they then focus exclusively on conference interpreting at that point, and if they get to the end of the full degree, then at that point they receive the Master of Conference Interpreting. I should say that year 1 is being delivered entirely in an online format, and so that's why we wanted to have something at the end of that year. If you're at a distance and you really can't imagine yourself coming to Glendon for classes on the campus, then there is something that you can get out of your first year of training, and that's the graduate diploma. And then sure enough, we're in the middle of constructing a new interpreting lab here at Glendon. It's very exciting. Should be ready for us by this time next year. And for that, we'll obviously be teaching classes in that lab, and the classes will be face-to-face. A final thing about the structure of the program that you should know, we've been working very hard with industry partners in Toronto and elsewhere to try and line up a series of work placements and industry exams. So for example, at the end of year 1, there are a number of hospitals and community health centers that have very readily accepted the idea of taking some of our students and having them act as intern interpreters in the healthcare setting. And at the end of year 1 as well, some of the big certification bodies that have just started up in the United States, like the National Board for Certification of Medical Interpreters and also the Commission for Certification of Healthcare Interpreters, these 2 new certification bodies have said, yes, we would like to work with you to encourage your students to apply for certification that way. All right, so that, in a nutshell, is the way the program is structured. And some people have said, oh, you know, online learning, maybe I've had good experiences with that in the past, or maybe I haven't so much. Why did you decide to deliver half of the program in an online environment? And before I sort of give you the answer, there's a nice little screen cap of a class that we did last night, and there you can see some of the students online. There's one student whose camera has just fritzed out on us at the moment that I snapped this. But there we are, we're having a conversation, and it's really exciting to see what the technology can do. Of course, we all have gone through this learning phase where we've learned to solve problems when we have a little bit of a technical glitch, and all of the students have become very proficient at that. And some of the exciting things that the technology allows us to do, we're using a platform that's called Adobe Connect, and Connect is designed for teaching online. And it allows you to put students into little breakout rooms, ideally to have discussions. But we can use the breakout rooms in another way. So for example, if I have, in this case, I had 7 students in the classroom with me, I can build 7 breakout rooms, and all of a sudden, I don't have breakout rooms. I have booths, I have interpreting booths, and I can put my students in their booths, I can put a video in the booth with them, have them press play, they can start interpreting, and I can pop into each one of the booths and listen to them interpret as though we were in a regular interpreting lab face-to-face. It's really pretty exciting. So That's the sort of techno-geek answer to why online learning, but there are some practical reasons too. For starters, students can come to us from anywhere, and the students that are currently enrolled in the program, we have 2 of our 7 students located in Toronto. The rest are all in other places. One of the students right now is in the Netherlands, and she tunes in to participate with us in classes. The other big reason, I would argue, is that our teachers can come to us from anywhere. So one of our teachers, for example, was the head of interpreting at the United Nations headquarters in New York for 30 years. And now he's retired in Florida. Well, he teaches for us from his family room in Florida. I have another teacher who's going to be with us in the wintertime. Not only is she accredited with the European institutions, not only does she hold a graduate degree in interpreter pedagogy, but she also teaches at 3 other institutions in Europe. Well, she's teaching for us, and I couldn't do that if we were delivering the program entirely face-to-face. The final reason is that the future of interpreting is remote, and sometimes my students say, I'm a young person. The future of everything seems remote to me, but what I mean is that what I mean by this is that a lot of interpreting is moving online. So just this past week, for example, we saw a demonstration that was given by one of our colleagues at the Monterey Institute in California, a new system that's being used to deliver interpreting in teleconferences, and it really had us sitting there with wide eyes and slack-jawed at what exactly can be done over the phone line now or through this sort of VoIP-like platform. So where can interpreting take me? Why might I want to become an interpreter? Well, we've been working very hard, obviously, with the United Nations. That's sort of the first thing that everybody thinks about when they think about conference interpreting, simultaneous interpreting. And so, yes, we've been having conversations with the United Nations. Some of our teachers are accredited with the United Nations, be that in New York, be it in Geneva, Vienna, elsewhere. The other thing, we've been working very hard with the European institutions, so the European Commission, the European Parliament, and some of the other bodies in Europe. Just to let you know, the European Commission is the world's largest employer of interpreters. It has a staff of 3,000 and a freelance list of about 6,000. And from now until the next 10 years, they're expecting that half of those people will disappear due to retirement. And so those are a lot of pairs of shoes to fill. There's also, in Canada, the Government of Canada maintains 2 separate and distinct interpreting services, and they, like everybody else in the world, have suffered from the retirement of the baby boomers. The service that I left in the Government of Canada to come to Glendon, at one point it had 40 people in its past, staff interpreters, and now it has 14. So there too, a lot of people are looking around saying, where can we get new interpreters from? And that's just conference interpreting. We could also have a whole entire discussion about healthcare interpreting or about court interpreting where the needs are great as well. So if anything that I've said has caught your imagination or attention, you may be saying to yourself, what do I do next? Well, the process is simple. We're very shortly had a nice discussion with our Office of Admissions. We're going to open up the door to receiving applications again very soon. And so if you would like to apply, you'd be welcome to do so. The next thing that happens after we get the applications in, there is an aptitude test. So we bring you into our online environment. We deliver a few short tests to figure out whether you have what it takes to become an interpreter. And should the answer to that question be yes, then we may in some cases need to do a little bit of an assessment of English. So if you've been to university in an English-speaking environment, this won't be necessary, but we do have a lot of students who are coming to us virtually from overseas where they haven't necessarily had a background in academia in English, and so sometimes that happens. All right, so I won't take up too much of the time. I'm here for the rest of the evening and going to enjoy our keynote speaker along with the rest of you in a moment. But if you do have any particular questions about the program, you're welcome to talk to me, or you can also email us at interpretation@glendon.yorku.ca. I'll also take this opportunity to plug the fact that the School of Translation is also very present on social media, and so you'll see that we're being filmed tonight. Our hope is to put those excerpts up on our YouTube channel. You'll see some other videos there of International Translation Days past and some other events. We're also on Facebook and on Twitter, so you can check out our updates there as well.